Now, I know when we spoke earlier that you were basically hired to create a program from scratch versus inheriting an existing program. What was that experience like for you?
The way that I approach it, I mean, some professionals may be different in terms of building out a corporate global program. But first, I kind of approach it the same way as if the company was already public. So right now we're private, but I still like to at least approach it as if there's complete public exposure everywhere. So first, I start off with a lot of our policies and SOPs, and just kind of getting those on the ground because those serve as like the foundation for building a strategy in the future. So that's your emergency action plans, that's your business continuity plans, crisis management plans, investigative policies and standard operating procedures. And then from there, you can kind of build out the global security technologies and the infrastructure and the insider and outsider threat programs and build from there. But for the most part, I like to start off with the administrative side and then kind of work my way to the operational side.
What are some of the challenges that you run into or maybe setbacks that come along with trying to start a program from scratch? I can imagine that people are not used to it, so maybe they're not receptive to doing certain things. So what did you experience?
Yeah, you sometimes have to just break it down to some of your stakeholders who may not be familiar with the global security program, right? I mean, you may sometimes come into an organization that that may be mature and they may just not have worked with a global security professional before. So for instance, they may just think, your job is to, ensure that the doors are locked and the cameras are on and, no one intrudes, right? And it can be way more sophisticated and complex than that, depending on the business model or the organization. So I would say first you have to kind of at least spell out in layman terms of what you're actually there to do, what the programs you intend to implement entail, what kind of policies and SOPs and what kind of support you need from there to build it, whether that's from legal, your IT teams or InfoSec teams, and kind of paint like a year to 2 year trajectory of where you think the program will be based on the resources that you are asking for. So for instance, I have a whole supply chain security strategy to kind of implement when it comes to, a lot of our mills and factories and how our product comes to the US and how it goes overseas. And then there's like the basic corporate security strategy, which is essentially preserving the workplace and having insider and outsider threat programs and emergency action plans for, severe weather and earthquakes, active shooters, intruders, power outages, you name it. And then there comes like business continuity aspect of it, where it's way more consequential than emergency response and crisis response, where that can impact the business for weeks to months to come. And there's a lot that goes into just the global security and safety initiatives.
Operating across a lot of different regions probably presents unique challenges. So what considerations come into play when managing security on a global scale?
Having a true global footprint is definitely rewarding, and it allows you to, to travel and allows you to kind of see what the customs and courtesies are in other countries. But I would say first, it's definitely the compliance side, but also some organizations in different countries just operate differently culturally, right? So you kind of have to understand the customs and courtesies in Japan, which can be fundamentally different from, Beijing to, New South Wales, right? And Sydney. So I think it just takes a bit of discernment to understand what the customs and courtesies are. And then it takes a bit of an expert to understand the regulatory standards and how they can definitely shape your measures and SOPs. The cultural norms definitely threw me through a loop, when I kind of segued into the corporate world. And I had experience, of course, on a global scale, as a, in the federal government, but on a corporate scale, it's a bit different. There's different working tempos, right? You got some places that are quote unquote island time in the way that they work, and things are a bit more lax, and they may take a few days to get to an email that's one sentence, where you may be in kind of in a high level environment like, Fifth Avenue in New York, where it's just turn and burn, and people are sending you emails at 12:37 a.m. Right. So I think you just have to know how to adapt. You have to know how to fall in line with the culture and just be accommodating of it.